evening, everyone. It was a bit of a shock that. I wasn't expecting the new intro in there, but great stuff as always. Welcome to the Top Table Talk. We are back, and guests will be joining us very, very shortly. But we've got one of the panel members already in place. We've got Dan United already. But boys, how are you? Tuesday, game day for you. Game day for you, mate.
Just another Tuesday. Just another Tuesday. Oh God, here
he is.
I brought my Stretch Armstrong today. I thought I need someone to distress myself because I know this guy is just gonna.
Danny boy's here.
He's gonna bore me today.
Sorry, mate. How are you guys?
We might as well start.
Oh, good, Wolfie.
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I got to take out a relegation for the team tonight. Get 3 points. Where's Adam? I don't have words with Adam.
Wolfie. Adam sent his apologies.
Are you joking, bro? I've literally been on 3 streams in a row, right? I'm having to stockpile stuff. I need 3 of me today, and Adam sends his apologies.
Yeah, he did.
You get to stateside.
And you know what? He did say, yeah, it probably.
I'm having to eat my dinner on stream, man, because I got no gaps to eat dinner today, and Adam can't make it.
You know what? You need to take it up with him next week. Take it up with him. You can hold on to that. Hold on to that frustration because
he's running scared, Wolfie. Tomorrow he's facing the mighty Villa. He's running scared.
Oh, I hope you smash him.
Could it be a double whammy? Yes, Rich. Could it be a double whammy? I forgot that you
double Midlands whammy.
Yeah, but boys, it's been a while. How are things? How are things now? We've had a little bit of a rest. International breaks done and dusted. Now back to football, starting tonight.
Started the weekend, mate. Started the weekend for some of us.
Nah.
Okay, look, we give you your flowers on that. Semi-finals, Wembley.
First time in 24 years. Well done. Well done.
Actually, we were in Wembley 3 years ago, mate. So do your research.
Well done. FA Cup semi-final. Sorry, I apologise. 24 years.
I was going to say, state the facts correctly, man.
No, you're right. I'm sorry.
The other fact is we have a 100% win record at the new Wembley.
Semi-final, 24 years. Honestly, there are people watching the stream who haven't even been alive to see Forest in an FA Cup semi-final. So, love it for you, mate. Love it.
But you're bitter. Who have you got in the semi-final, Dan?
I knew that was good.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
Because I can ask Rich. Rich can answer that, can't you, Rich?
Yeah, technically, actually, United have got United are in the semis. United are in the semis, haven't they? They've got.
In fairness to Dan, he's come, and he's worn his fake Newcastle jersey just to celebrate with all Newcastle fans our League Cup triumph that we're still celebrating, and we will be celebrating for the rest of the season.
And keep celebrating, I say.
For the next 40 years. Why not? Why not?
Boys, just quickly on the FA Cup. You boys confident you can win it from both sides? Villa, Forest, you got that confidence. Forest got Man City, Villa, you got Palace. For me, I don't think either of those games are easy. But you confident you can get to the final and lift the trophy this year?
Yeah, man. Why not? Villa Forest final. To be fair, if I could have picked the opponent, I would have probably picked Forest. I think we've got a better record, against them than we have currently against Palace. And
wait, currently you're 0-1 with us, bro.
Yeah, this season, but last season and at Villa Park, and I think the tactics that Emery plays against Forest, I think, suit us a little bit more than how Glasner has played against Emery. Like, he's never beaten him. And I think their physicality in midfield potentially can hurt us, and the pace going forward. Ismail Assar suddenly turns into prime Lionel Messi when he comes against Villa. I just don't understand how it happens. However, I think hopefully we can have learned some of those lessons, and then we make it to the final. But I do think Forest I think it could be for a Villa Forest final. I fancy them to do Man City.
I'm just saying, Rich. Remember who you got this Sunday, yeah. Before you start glazing this whole
5:30 Saturday.
I actually think you win that one. To me, it's at your place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Am I confident? No. Am I more confident against Man City than I would have been against Bournemouth? Yes. So thank you, Man City, for knocking that scum out. But yeah, for me, I've said all along since the runs got serious, the FA Cup is a bonus to me. If we get it, fantastic. The likes of Dan and that can't start saying, "When was your last trophy? When was your last trophy?" Yeah,
it's all we got, Wolfie. It's all I have. It's the last thing.
Exactly. So if I can rub that one off the checklist, then yeah, imagine how much more unbearable I'm going to be. But my priority is still Champions League. For me personally, I think there are Forest fans that would love to see a trophy over Champions League. You're still going to get Europa League and what have you. But I just think in terms of the growth going forward, Champions League is more important for Forest. Do I think we're going to win it? No. I don't mind who. If we go out to Man City, I don't really mind who wins it from Palace or Villa. They're two teams on a very small list of teams that I don't mind. So I'm all right with either one. The only thing I don't want Villa to win this year, Rich, and this isn't from a place of hate. It's just I don't want you to have 2 stars.
Yeah, I know what's coming. Yeah.
If this was your first start, I'd love you to win it, but I don't want you leveling with us, bro. I had to do with Chelsea doing that. So, but yeah. I actually would like, if we don't win it, probably Palace, if I'm being honest. Because could you imagine how unbearable D is going to be? It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be hilarious, man. So, yeah, I don't think we win it. But if we do, bonus.
Good question here from Andy, and one I want to know the answer to as well. How long is Wood out for?
Don't know. There's all kinds of rumors. Some said he had an operation yesterday. Some said 4 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the squad tonight. So I don't know.
I agree. Huh? I was thinking
that. Because it's been very cagey about it. I can't get any kind of line on it from the club or anything, which kind of tells me that there's probably some, magic sponge stuff going on there, and he's suddenly going to have a miracle recovery. I don't know, but he hasn't been in good form the last 3 or 4 weeks anyway. But this is why I was so annoyed with our transfer window, because we didn't add depth in that striking department, and we were just relying on Wood staying fit and Wood staying in form to score the goals. So the answer is I don't know. No one's really saying anything. Everything anyone's saying is speculation, really.
What was the injury? What was it?
Hip injury on international.
So it's a similar thing to Gordon then, because we had the same with Gordon. You had to get and Gordon suspended for tomorrow, but he wouldn't be fit for tomorrow. But there's a chance. They said Howe said today that he's going to train in the next few days, so it could well be that it's similar, depending on how early. I think Wood got injured after Gordon. Is that right? Did he get? It must have been a couple of days after.
Yeah, a week ago, a couple of days ago.
So depending on the severity, it could actually be that he actually does miss today and maybe back for the weekend. But
back for the big games.
Oh, team sheets are out, boys. Team sheets.
I'm just looking for it as well.
What are you thinking for the FA Cup?
Wood is not playing. He's not on the bench. So just scrap that last 5-minute conversation.
Confirmed team news.
Yeah.
Okay. So confirmed, Wood not in the squad. Well, Morgan Gibbs-White not in there either.
He's playing.
Oh, he's playing.
Yeah.
That's new.
That was the one. That was the one I'd rather would have missed tonight. Was Gibbs-White. I love that guy.
Where's Hudson-Odoi?
See.
What, is he on the bench?
Not even on the bench.
Oh. Ooh.
Oh crap. Dan, what's your team sheet like?
Trying to find
Look at it, he's panicking.
I love Hudson-Odoi, man. He's such a baller.
He's panicking. Oh dear.
Are you doing a watch along, Wolfie?
Yeah. I'll be kicking that off after 7:30.
Come on.
Interesting.
What were you in?
Can't
getting the team news for United.
We've just dropped our most informed striker. Can't believe that. No.
Oh, don't tell me Rasmus isn't playing, man.
On the bench.
Oh, for God's sake, man.
Dan, just run us through the team then. Run us through the team really quickly.
Anana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Yoro, then it's Dorgu and Dallo, Casemiro, Ugarte, Bruno, Xerxes, Garnacho. Interesting.
Bruno, Xerxes, Garnacho.
How to attack?
They'll play Xerxes up when they top. It'll be Fernandes and Garnacho behind.
Okay, just going back, rewinding a little bit back to the FA Cup. Just Dan, your opinions as outsiders here, because we're not in the FA Cup, of course. Who do you think's winning it then? Out of those 4 teams,
I was furious. I was furious that City beat Bournemouth. I know obviously Wolfie hates Bournemouth, but for me, to have a semi-final with 4 clubs that potentially, we're seeing a new winner for the first time in a few years, I was so happy, and I couldn't believe the fall-off we saw from Bournemouth in the second half. I thought, this is it. We're going to have an FA Cup final. If my club aren't in it, I can enjoy them. I'd love. Do you know what? I'd give him stick, but I would love a Villa or a Forest winning the final. I think clubs with heritage, absolutely. I just don't know. You keep talking about Palace, and I wonder. It just seemed to have turned it on, doesn't it? The last sort of 8 weeks, they really hit. And also, the Palace board have got to take credit there, because a lot of people start the season, I think, were looking at this team and going, it's not looking great. Glasner, has it gone the wrong way? Now, he's been given, well, I don't say he's been given the time, but he's been allowed to just carry on about his work and keep building that team. And I think they look a really decent outfit. And I tell you what, they're finishing this season extremely well. So where are they in the Prem table now? What are they?
12.
So, I mean, not far off knocking on the door for European, are they? For the Conference League, especially with the English teams that are still in there. So Palace, man.
That's the thing, that they can really go for this. They can, they're same for all of the teams out of the 4, but there's 2 games away from European qualification, but they haven't necessarily got anything that's getting in the way. Forest Champions League football, Villa still in the Champions League trying to push for it. I guess Man City, they can put all their eggs in that basket, but it's a disappointing season still. Crystal Palace can really, really go for it. So that's the slight thing that concerns me. But yeah, other than the quality players that they have, in the likes of Eze and Mateta and Adam Wharton's just brilliant. But yeah.
Dad, what are you thinking? FA Cup, who you going for?
Lions.
Oh, was the FA Cup on this weekend? Too busy watching celebrations, man. There was only one cup.
I'm watching Coronation Street.
Look, it does. You have to say City, but Forest can do damage. So. But like Wolfie said, I know he was saying if Forest didn't win, it would be nice to see someone like the underdog like Palace to claim it. But if I was to put a bet on now, I'd say City. And I know Holland is potentially missing for the next while. But they have Mamouche. So
can I just add? I think if you're a if you're a Newcastle fan, maybe a Bournemouth fan, any of those teams chasing the Champions League spots, you will want Forest or Man City to win this.
Yeah.
Because that will then put the Europa spot back into the league. Assuming, of course, we both get it. So don't forget the Alliance, Des. That's all I'm saying, man. We'll scratch your back.
It does more than that, Wolfie, doesn't it? It doesn't do more than that. It pushes the rest of it down as well. I think. There's a scenario where is it 10th or 11th? One stage they were saying
you can go down to 11th. Yeah.
Man. Yeah, but
we're
already in the Conference League. So that's banked. We want to go higher. We want Champions League.
Yeah, well, let's hope you get Champions League. But if you don't, that means if Forest win the FA Cup and get Champions League, that will push the Europa down to 6th and 7th. In the league.
I know what
Which
you're
would
saying.
then- which would then push the conference down to 8th. But because you've already won it, it would push it down to 9th or something like that. It would go to 8th. It would go to 8th at the moment. Yeah.
And it could mean it could actually be like a double blessing on both sides, because if Villa win it, they win the trophy and they get into Europe anyway. But if they don't, and it is Man City or Forest, it pushes it down in a position, and you might not be down there. I think you're 9th at the moment, Rich, if I'm right.
Mm-hmm. 9th at the minute, yeah.
It could quite change easily, but if you did stay in that position, you're still within touching distance of potential European football next season, or could be anyone.
We're getting that second star. We're getting that second star on the badge.
You feeling it then? You feeling it against PSG? Are you confident that you can cause an upset?
I mean, I think we could. I think we can get past PSG, but then ultimately, the likelihood is you're going to face Real Madrid in the semi-final, and that I don't think there's any chance that we get past them. So no, I don't think we'll win. We'll win the Champions League, in all honesty. But you know, it's every game that we're playing in it is getting us an extra 10 million in the bank, which is unfortunate in terms of looking at it like that. But it's just a journey to be enjoying, and it's adding to the coffers. It's adding to the money in the bank as well, which is an added bonus to it. But yeah, I think, you know, with regards to the tactical battle, Emery against PSG, if we can be in it after the away leg and be in it, taking them to Villa Park, I think we've got a good opportunity. But yeah, ultimately then against Real Madrid, I think we'd come unstuck. But I mean, to get to a semi-final of a Champions, to get to the quarterfinal is brilliant, but to get to a semi-final of the Champions League would be fantastic.
Rich, when's the game? Is it after our game or the week after?
Yeah. So the first leg's next Wednesday, and then the second leg is
just the following.
Are you home or away
first? The following Tuesday.
Yeah. Are you home or away first?
Away first, home second.
Away.
You
got a chance.
I tell you what, though, who have you got this week? This midweek? Have you got Brighton this midweek, Villa?
Yeah,
got Brighton on Wednesday, then Forest, then PSG, then Southampton, then the second leg, and then Newcastle.
That's a tough run. I've just looking at those run of fixtures. Are you going to be looking at potentially resting players in between that?
It doesn't matter, mate. We've the squad that we've got at the minute that's available is crazy. So that's the one thing that I'm really confident about right now. The forward options that we've got at the moment are Morgan Rogers, Jacob Ramsey, John McGinn, and I'd say in those kind of advanced midfield positions, Marco Asensio, Marcus Rashford, Ollie Watkins, Donyell Marlin, and Leon Bailey. It's crazy.
But you've had to go for it, haven't you? You've had to go for it this season, because I don't know if you've seen. I imagine you would have seen it, Rich. Dan United and Wolf, we were talking after Potts' show last night. 85 million in losses.
That's fine. That's fine.
Know what the profit is.
But it was before. It was a 23-24 accounts, and there's a guy on TikTok who kind of Villa fan who does a lot of he looks into the finances and stuff and says that the 85 million loss is before any of the things that you can attribute PSR to, like you can take off. So like the women's team, the infrastructure, and one or two other things that any club can do it. So you can say, oh, look, we put 10 million into the women's team. We put 16 million that attributes to infrastructure. So that could go down to straight away to 60 million losses, which is all we've already, I think 25-30% down on the losses that we had the season before, but we can attribute quite a lot to it. And then the 25-26 accounts will be, I think they're estimating the turnover will be about 350 million as opposed to 275 million. So I think it's fine, and that's not including the sale of John Duran and everything like that came into this year.
Okay. No, it'd be interesting to find out because I didn't know the details. It was Kieran Maguire just tweeted it out, and I don't think he knew everything because they haven't. I don't know if they've officially released the numbers.
It's a headline stat, isn't it? Like they'll always say, "Oh, look, record turnover matched with these losses." That's how it works. That's how it's gonna garner headlines. But you forget that you've got people that are at the top of their game in terms of accountancy and business that kind of know what they're doing as opposed to us.
Yeah. Definitely.
Sorry, Rich. Sorry. We've got a request. And I know Wolf, you have a request in as well. And I'll look after that in the chat when I get to it in a second. But we've got a request in from our Lisa. And our Lisa has asked one of us, and she's actually asked you, Wolfie, to sing this. So give it your best shot.
Singing. R&D singing.
Great. Try it.
We've been singing this for the last 2 weeks, mate.
My singing voice is so bad, man. I can't do it in front of the beauty that is Dan. It's just I'd feel embarrassed. I've even tried copying his hairstyle.
Pass it to Dan. Pass them the ball to Dan.
Happy to. Don't you know? Pump it up. United beat Newcastle in the cup.
Oh, let's go to Rich. Rich, you're next, Rich. Go on.
I can't do it. I'll live up here with too many Geordies. I can't do it.
Can you do a Geordie accent, Rich?
It'll get clipped up.
Love it. I love that, Dan. Well, fair play.
Don't you know? Pump it up. Newcastle won the cup. There we go, Lisa. Thanks very much.
The cup or a cup?
Any cup. Doesn't matter.
Did you boys get across for the parade?
I was
there.
I took my daughter with me, so we were up there for the day. It was amazing day.
They still got Metro Centre in Newcastle.
Yeah, it's just outside.
It's roller coastery thing that goes around.
I don't think the monorail's on it. Is it on anymore? I don't think the monorail's on anymore. That's like Gateshead. That's like just outside.
I had to stay in Doncaster for a couple of weeks as a kid, and we went into that Metro Centre, and Aspria was there with his kid going on that roller coaster. And everyone's like, Tino. That's all you could hear the whole way, man. And he was loving it, man. He was absolutely loving it. Tino, man. He's a good player.
Oh, yeah. Tino was unreal. But look, we've got our new heroes now. New heroes are in the house. These boys will be sort of legends. As a squad of players, they'll be legends for a long time. Regardless of what trophies we win next, they broke the mold for 70 years for a domestic trophy. It won't be forgotten, and it won't be for the manager as well. And obviously, we'll be looking to hit back ourselves in the sort of weeks to come. But look, Man United are getting a bit of an upturn at this moment in time, getting players back. Luke Shaw's back. We talk about Diallo as well, Dan. One or two players coming back. Are you expecting an upturn in form? Look, we might as well talk about the game tonight because it is the big game tonight that I think most people will be watching later on after this show. And
can I just sorry to interrupt you, Dan, because I got to shoot.
He's running scared.
I'm running scared.
Off you go. I'll see you
much love, Dan. And I'll see you.
Direct in place.
I'm giving you my prediction just as I go 5-0 Forest. 5-0 Forest. I'm not even joking. I think Man U are overhyping themselves because they've won games in a row. It doesn't.
How are we overhyping us?
You are hyping like the hype I saw because Haaland scored the goal. Not Haaland, sorry.
Over fucking hype ourselves about.
You're overhyping. Do you know what, Dan? And I don't aim this stuff at you because you bug me so much that I like you and you're a Man U fan, right? The overhype I saw over Rasmus scoring against Leicester. Like, you know what? Maybe have we got it wrong? Maybe he was just needed a goal. He needed a goal to sort himself out and all this stuff, right? I'm like, come on, man. All this revisionism on Bruno now, FC Bruno FC, all this stuff. Yet 3 weeks ago, they hated his guts and wanted him out. I like it when Man U come to games overconfident. That's what I'm saying. And I'm going 5-0. 5-0. And it's not, yeah, if we can put 7 past Brighton, we're a better team than United. I'm just saying 5-0 will feel okay. I need revenge for 8-1. That 8-1
start his conversation with United's overconfidence and then predicts Nottingham Forest to win 5-0.
That's underconfidence, man. We beat Brighton 7-0, last time out. We beat Man City in our last game at the City Ground. We've lost 2 games all season at the City Ground. And Dan tried to deny this yesterday, but Man U have not won back-to-back games in the Premier League.
No, I didn't deny.
You called me a liar.
I jumped in. I didn't deny.
You called me a liar.
I jumped in before we finished. I jumped in before you finished the start. I didn't call you. I jumped in, and I apologized for that.
No, you did, and that's why I hate loving you. Because you're too nice.
You sound just like my wife, mate. You sound just like my wife.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I gotta go set up. Yeah, and if you want, and if anyone watches the watch along lately, my hatred for them is pure. So it's over 18. There will be a lot of swearing. There will be a lot of Degeneration X kind of things if we score, you know what I'm saying? So like there's gonna be a lot of that, right? So I apologize in advance. Have a great stream, boys. Much love. Sorry, I got cut short.
No worries. We'll get you back next week, hopefully when we'll talk about the race for Europe, because that's what we'll jump to now. It's
I may as well go then. I may as well.
But before we jump to that, I want you to talk to us about what you think, because you just got a prediction there of a 5-0 loss on your head, and that might not mean anything to you, but that's that's a big prediction for him. Is Wolfie almost taking the pressure off you now tonight? The fact that he's so confident that they're going to go and wipe the floor with you, from what he said.
Look, Forest fans have every right to feel confident about spanking United 5-0. We are abysmal. I mean, okay, we've had a better run after Christmas. I think we lost 3 or 4 games after Christmas. So it's a long journey with this team, and I've said it so many times. This team has been found out, which is why I don't want us to win anything this season. I really, of course, I'll celebrate if we win the Europa League, but I don't want this fraudulent group to have any hope of staying on of what Amorim wants to do. But look, fair play to them. They're having the best season they've had in bloody hell, Rich. We've got to be talking 30 years, 35 years.
Yeah.
So more power to them.
Stan Collymore days, maybe.
Yeah. So more power to them. I love the fact that Wolfie's got the chest, and long may it continue. I just think, obviously, just don't get yourself in that situation where I had it off you guys on this channel. Do you remember with Europe last year? Pete, you were very gracious, to be fair, but it was United aren't getting Europe. Billy, the Villa fan, bye-bye. We won't see you next season. Man United, we have a way of scumming results, and it wouldn't surprise me if we scum a result. I'm not confident we're going to win tonight. We're nowhere near it with our team, but it just wouldn't surprise me if we went and scummed the result there tonight. It really wouldn't.
Mate, you could still win the bloody Europa League.
Still be Champions League. That's the thing, Rich. And do you know something? Imagine. Actually, I'm changing that. I want us to win the Europa League, because just imagine the meltdown that Manchester United finished 13th and still qualify for the Champions League. The meltdown would be biblical, man. Oh my days! You thought last season was bad. The world would go into a meltdown. It would be horrendous. So,
Wolfie. I don't think you'd be able to cope if you ended up winning the Europa League. But equally, and look, Daz, Rich, I'll bring you in on this. If Man United are going to win tonight, does that put teams like us back in that race to potentially claw them back? Because they're sitting in third at the moment. They're sitting pretty right now, in a very comfortable position. But that loss there, knowing, and I hadn't realised this, knowing that they then have to play Villa the weekend, and if Villa turn them over, and Newcastle potentially, Villa beat Brighton, and then go and beat Forest, we beat hopefully Brentford and Leicester on the Monday, you're looking at a swing there that potentially puts Forest out of the top 4. And does that change the situation? Can you spark change than United? That's the
What is
question.
this?
Now.
In my
No pressure.
lifetime, we're not even on the fucking graphic. Look at this.
Yeah.
It's just, oh
It
my
wouldn't fit in the page.
days.
It doesn't really matter.
I
He's doing
think,
it, man.
I think, do you know something? I think, unfortunately, I was wrong about the team, but I said that at the start of the season, between 3rd and 10th, didn't I? Start of the season, I said it is going to be chaos from 3rd to 10th. And I've been proven right in that aspect. It's the only thing I have got right, because I also said United had finished 3rd. What a joke. But look, it's there to play for every club. And what I love about this season, people are saying, oh, it's boring now. You know, Liverpool have done what they're doing. And it's not boring. You know, if we say it's boring, we're taking it away from the clubs like Brighton. We're taking it away from the clubs like Fulham, like Bournemouth, like Brentford, who are in this conversation of being in European football. Don't degrade these other clubs. These clubs have taken points off the big teams all season. So damn straight they have the right to be where they are. So I hate people saying it's a boring season. What? Because the big teams aren't doing what we do every season. Finishing 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Big whoop. Let's have some change. Let's enjoy it, man. I personally honestly think Newcastle, as long as they don't suffer with the hangover, and I mean the hangover of the celebrations, you know, of winning that cup, the thing that you need to make sure that your boys have is that installation that this isn't enough. Now you have to go on and achieve it for the rest of the season. You have to go on there and get as many points on the board as possible. You're still in a conversation for Champions League. How good of a season would it feel? And I know a lot of people will say, happy just to get the cup. But imagine a cup and Champions League football, considering you've not spent money for so long, considering you've had all these plans and the ownership has been held because of PSR. I think that's an incredible achievement. And people are talking about slot for manager of the year. People are talking, you know, obviously Nuno's going to have a mention, but you'd have to put Eddie in there as well. How he's been able to keep this group of players together, hungry, keep that attitude up where it should be to be taking these points. I think he's done a fantastic job. So it's open, and I don't take Rich out of that either. I mean, it's Rich. I don't take you out of that at all. I actually personally think you guys playing in the Champions League, there is nothing worse than playing a team that is there to just cause as much mayhem as possible. To play a team that is just, they know, look, we could potentially not win this. We're just going to go with no fear and absolutely go for it. It's a game over 2 legs. I genuinely feel like people are honestly laughing at the thought of Villa getting anywhere near to the final. We've seen teams like Dortmund get to the final. We've seen Porto before they really hit it big.
Well, Emery took Villarreal to the semis.
So these clubs, I mean, again, it's that almost ignorance that, oh, well, Madrid is still in it, you know, Barcelona is still in it. It's absolute nonsense. It's cup football. I tell you something, if Manchester United can win 2 cups in the last 2 seasons, be an absolute pish, and I say pish to my Scottish friends up there, anything can happen in cup football. So, Rich, and another thing, as much as I hate mentioning his name, but Rashford loves playing PSG, you know. Rashford's got good form against PSG, loves playing against them. So, just go and enjoy it. And same with you boys.
That's exactly
what we're doing. Come of the season.
Yeah. Just back to your question, Pete. And I'm sorry. Well, Wolfie's gone, so we don't have to worry about insulting Wolfie. But Mark, screw the alliance when it comes to picking up points for our own team. Yeah, we have to be on the lookout for our own team. And yeah, if Man United were to do us a favour tonight, yeah, we'd take that. Likely, I'm sure that Forest fans will be the same when we have to play Man United in about 2 weeks' time. So. Yeah, anything that can get us push us up for towards those Champions League places. And back to what you were saying there about the season is not finished for us. No, definitely not. We've got 10 games to go, and all eyes on getting to an upgrade on the Conference League and hopefully into the Champions League, especially when there's 5 positions there. But as you're saying, it's all eyes on that Brentford game and see what is the headspace like of our players now? Not when you say hangover, I know you don't mean actual hangover, but it's are their heads in the game to kick on in this run in?
can I ask you both a question? And actually, probably Rich, this impacts you as well. What is the difference in what you're going to be able to spend in the summer, depending on qualification for Champions League? You've got the Conference League, obviously. What's the difference? Is there a difference, or will it be this summer is just an all-out assault on the transfer market?
From what we've heard, we are going to spend. And there hasn't been and I think initially when we found out that the PSR situation's in a much better position, we can spend and improve the squad in the summer. I think we all just kind of assumed, okay, there's a budget for Champions League, there's a budget for Europa League, there's a budget for Conference, and if we don't get into Europe, but actually the noises seem to be that there isn't a difference in budget. And it was reported a couple of weeks ago. Maybe even actually before the cup final, that there wasn't a budget or a difference in type of player that we're going for. There wasn't like a Champions League list, a Europa League list. It's just the player that we want. So that's the noises that we're hearing, is that there isn't really a difference in there. Of course, if we get Champions League, there may be scope to spend a little bit more because of the fact that we know what money it generates. Rich, you just talked about 10 million per game in the latter stages and what that means getting into the latter stages. So Newcastle United will definitely be thinking, if we can get Champions League, if we're lucky enough to do it, let's get through because of the money that it can generate moving forward, because we've already generated a lot of money over the last 2 or 3 years, and we want to keep doing that, and Champions League is the best way to do it because of how much money you can earn per game, just regardless. But that's kind of where we are. I don't know if you've got anything to add on that, Dan.
Yeah, just one thing. It's not actually answering Dan's initial question, but it's getting Champions League football. It's the day after that. It's like, Isaac, there you go, sign there, because it gets done without even thinking. Then I think a new contract for Isaac. It may get done anyway because we secured European football, but it'd be nice to just go, hey, no, there you go. Hopefully this is what we can do every season now, and sign up here for a bumper wages and an extension onto your contract.
It's a great point, Daz, and I think the thing with Isaac is, and any other player, Bruno, whoever it is that those conversations are dead in the water if we get Champions League. Like, the media can put out whatever. To be fair, the media are putting out whatever they want right now. Like, the amount of Liverpool noise and all. I've never seen so many Liverpool accounts on my timeline before, and it's only because they're just constantly talking about Isaac all the time. But all of that is like, I mean,
that winds me up, Pete. That winds me up.
I don't think he leaves anyway. But if we do secure Champions League, that it's just dead in the water. It doesn't happen.
But that winds me up. Expectance from Liverpool fans that, oh well, we're going to get Isaac. Like, the thing about these boys at your club is, genuinely, you hear rumours, and the one thing I will say about Mark Goldbridge, as much as I don't like mentioning his name very often, is something he's always said that I do believe is, around March, it is when you start to hear these stories and you start to hear these little murmurs that players aren't happy at clubs. I watched on Sky News, I watched Bruno on the mic, I watched Isaac, I watched the players. Those boys love the club, and I genuinely don't. I don't even think I don't think you need to worry about their heads being turned if you don't get Champions League this season. Mainly for the fact there is, we're not going to do the Arsenal scenario project, all that bollocks, but there is a plan in place here, and I think it's more about the players that come in. If they can see that you're bringing the players in to better your club. I said this to you last night, Pete, and it was a legitimate question. You've got probably the best midfield three in the Premier League. You've got the best striker in the league. I completely agreed with Potts when he said that Isaac was better than Haaland. Haaland scores goals, but Isaac does so much more on the ball. I don't think you're miles off where you need to be. You've got Livramento, who's still so young. You've got Hall, who's still so young. You've got these players, man. So I kind of feel like it wasn't a question of, oh, you've done this, you're gonna. But I think you're only 2 or 3 players off really, really challenging, because everyone's already saying, oh, it's City will be back next season. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows if Rodri is going to come back the same player he was before this injury. These injuries can have a massive toll on these players. Nobody knows if Haaland, after this season, might think, do you know what, I do fancy moving on. I don't see Haaland being there for years at City. There are plenty of if, buts and maybes in this league for next season. Arsenal, they've got their new director of football coming, sporting director. We don't know what direction they're going to go. Liverpool potentially could lose 3 of their best players, coupled up with the fact Andy Robertson is literally at the end now. He has been a fantastic left back, but he's at the end. They've got that new goalkeeper coming in, so Alisson's obviously off. That Liverpool side is going to be completely different next season, and that's where we're going to see what Slot is as a coach, because it's going to be his place. There are so many factors that come in for next season that I genuinely just, I don't think anyone can have any right to say City will smash it next season. Yeah, okay, they spent money in January. Hasn't really transformed them into the club that everybody thought was going to smash and go straight back in the right direction. So this is the uncertainty that I love when people say it's obvious that this is going to happen. The Premier League is going to be back to normal next season. What if this is the new normal? The players that these clubs are bringing in, these gems they're finding across the world, what if this is the new normal now? What if the top 4, top 5 is now no longer that? Now it's a top 8, a top 9. There's so many factors that I think people need to really think about instead of just saying City, Arsenal, Liverpool. There's too much now. There's too much riding on it now.
David just put a comment in here, and he's put Liverpool accounts now starting to say they cannot afford Isak with a rebuild that they need, and it's the accounts, but it's also the journalists that are pushing it as well. And look, Isak's an easy conversation, and it's going to continue to be put out. Luke Edwards, one of our journalists that reports on Newcastle, has been warning us for the past 4 weeks to say, look, expect it. They're gonna throw out loads of media stuff to try and unsettle him, club, the fans. This is what they'll try to do. You just got to ignore it, and that's ultimately what we're doing. And before it used to annoy us, particularly with the Arsenal stuff. Now with the Liverpool stuff, I think most fans, and Daz, you'll probably agree that most fans just kind of laughing at it now. Just
laughing at it from the start.
Yeah,
it's just never believing in it.
But Rich, from your perspective, I think that asks a question about, does it determine from your perspective where Villa finish, which means how much you're going to spend? Because I've seen a few Villa accounts saying that you might have to sell again in the summer to balance the books. I'm not sure. I've got no idea. But surely the higher you finish, the less likely that's to happen. But what are you thinking about how much you're going to spend potentially in the summer?
I think obviously it will it will dictate it a little bit in terms of where we finish. But I think there's a couple of things. One, I'm never that sentimental about getting rid of players. Like, it is what it is. You can get a good money for them, get a good price for them. Another one will come along. Who really cares? I think all bets are off for a number of our players in terms of whether they go. Watkins might go, Martinez might go. One or two others could be. There's the potential for, a bit of a clear out. Some of the older players, some of the more fringe players could be leaving. But I'm never that fussed about it, to be honest with you. The other side of it is that Unai and kind of Monchi and the structure of the club have kind of operated on 3 fronts. So they've done really well at signing some of the best young players from across the world, particularly Europe. So signing 18, 19-year-olds who have had first-team experience that come into the club. Also, even younger, usually taking players from West Bromwich Albion's academy, signing them at 16, bringing them into Villa, and then giving them 1 or 2 first-team appearances, putting them in the squad, and then you can sell them on for like 10, 11, 12 million, even more than that. You've seen that some of the players that have gone, Chukwuemeka, Kellyman, 1 or 2 others that. So we've got a couple of players that we can do that with at the end of the season. Louis Barry, 1 or 2 others that we can sell for 8, 9, 10 million even. So you've got that. You've then got the likes of Morgan Rogers, 1 or 2 other types of players who are rough around the edges, kind of, you can get them for really good prices, and then Unai Emery can turn them into 30, 40, 50, 60 million pound players, whatever you want to say. And then you've made up your money tenfold on those players, and then he signs the odd big name where he feels that there's value in the market. You know, Daniel Marlin, for example. Maybe not Amadou Onana because he hasn't really proven it yet. But like where he sees there's some value in the market, he'll go for it. So I don't necessarily feel like we'll make, because we've got Champions League football for the second season. I don't see him changing his policy and then going for a £100 million player. This is what Unai Emery is. He's a manager who likes to see value in the market, likes to see something in a player that thinks he can get more from, and work with them and try and do that. So I don't necessarily think it makes too much difference. But yeah, I don't get too sentimental about selling players. It is what it is.
We'll review on that. I think that's what Manchester United have to be for the next 5 years. I genuinely do. And Man United fans might not like to hear this, but we're going to have to be that club that finds these gems and has them at Old Trafford for 2-3 years, pushes and just makes a profit. Because what we've tried to do over the past 11 years, which is bring in these superstars, and I say that so loosely, it just doesn't work. And I actually feel like, Rich, you've probably got one of the best managers in the world for doing that. You know, the job he's done at Villarreal, the job he did at Sevilla, the job that he's done at Villa in bringing these lads in. And I mean, come on, the Duran signing, man. I mean, how much do you pay for Duran?
18 million.
I mean, that's just that is the sign of an absolute top manager, bringing a player and developing. The second that there's a sniff of money like that, yeah, absolutely, on you go, because that money is going to be reinvested. And I feel like so many clubs need to, and this is why you're seeing the likes of Brighton do so well. They're so savvy with their finances. Instead of going out and spending all this money on these players, bringing in these young top talents. I said it so many times. Ralph Rangnick, he wanted Diaz. He wanted Caicedo. He wanted Alvarez. Could have got all three for like 20 million. Look how much they're all worth or have gone for now. It's just, honestly, instead of buying ready-made superstars, it's bollocks.
Yeah, the mad thing is that arguably two of our best players, well, it's not even arguably, they are two of our best players this season in Yuri Tillemans and Boubacar Kamara were free transfers.
Yeah. Yeah, Kamara's on huge wages, isn't he?
Yeah. There's a question. Well,
yeah, I mean, who like wages? Who? It is what it is. Like 170 grand a week, whatever. You factor that in across. You factor that across a 5-year, 6-year contract. It's it's what you would cost in a transfer fee.
We had the same conversation we were talking about Lloyd Kelly as on the transfer show the other day. And that was it. It's like there was a lot of fans at the time when we signed him going, why is he on that big a wage for? He's on like 140, 150 grand. Why? It's because we've got him for free. Yeah, that's why. But we've gone and sold him off to Juventus for 20 million. So we've made 20 million off the back of that. So it's kind of happy days. Well, last question from me before we come to kind of the final part of the show, lads, is that, and this is to you, Rich, with regards to Villa. Do you genuinely see yourselves, and because I asked this to Billy last night, do you genuinely see yourselves keeping Rashford and Asensio into the summer? They've been fantastic. And Asensio, for a longer period, has been very, very good since he's come in. Rashford now just kicking into form. Are they the type of players that you want to be keeping in the summer? Do you think you've got a chance of keeping them? I'll tell you my opinion. I think you have. But what do you think as a Villa fan?
I think we've got a chance of keeping them, but I don't think we sign them. I really don't. I don't think we sign them. I don't think that in an ideal world, I don't think Unai Emery would have gone into the loan market at such a kind of emergency situation. Regardless of the players, they are quality players. Asensio, Rashford and Disasi, all three are quality players, but you know that there's a risk with signing loan players in January from a basis of hitting the ground running. Now, with those three players, you've got a pedigree. You're kind of in a bit of a no-lose situation in the fact that if they do well, it's going to do well for the club. It's going to do well for them. It's going to put them in the shop window, whatever it may be. And for the club that's sending them, it's obviously better for them if they continue to keep doing well. So on that sense, it works. But I don't think that, regardless of whether we get Champions League or not, I don't think we sign. Maybe we put in for Disassi. Maybe that could be a deal that could be done. He hasn't really played as many games as he would have wanted, and for one or two reasons, he's done well when he's come in. But yeah, I don't think he signs Rashford. I don't think so. I mean, and Asensio even. I'm like, the jury's still out on them. I love what they're doing at the moment, but it's like, you can do it for 6 months, but then you're signing people on a 3-4 year contract on huge wages with a massive pedigree. If they then get injured or if they lose form, you're in a Philip Coutinho situation that we've had before, and that's not what I want. And I don't think Unai Emery is that. I've just gone through the whole Unai Emery sort of strategy and how he signs players and how he wants to sign players, and I don't think Asensio, Rashford necessarily fall into that bracket. Disassi maybe a bit rough around the edges, someone who we can work with, but I don't necessarily think Asensio and Rashford fall into that bracket.
So they shouldn't, Rich, either. I genuinely feel like you hit the nail on the head. Look, these players were brought in to do a job for the rest of the season for you. I think you sign a Marcus Rashford from the experience, as a United fan. You bring Rashford in, he's coming on stupid wages. And I said this to Pete last night, and I said this to Billy last night. That is where you start seeing the disruption in your squad, because there are going to be players that play for you that have played week in, week out, have bled for the badge, have done everything for the badge, and they're going to start asking the same questions. Why am I not on this much money a week? Why should he come in on 200, 250 grand? I feel like you literally take them to the end of the season, you shake their hands and you say, thank you very much. You've either got us, you could have us a Champions League win, you could get us in the Champions League. But essentially, you have been a little part. We've helped each other out. You've helped us for this season. We've helped with your with your pursuit on getting different clubs with more money. Off we go. I think there's better players out there for you, Rich. And, don't sweat on this Rashford thing, because people are saying that Rashford's back after this performance against Preston. He ain't back. I see this guy do this season after season for Manchester United. He'd go on a barren run of not scoring, then he'd get 2 against Bristol, and you go, oh, he's no. So you could sign him. I don't think you should. I think you should be looking far away. And Villa being the way that Villa are, you probably already have your targets in mind, and you probably know where you're going.
Yeah, there's a chance we might get Asensio on another season loan. I think there was the option of having an 18-month loan, which might work out better in terms of that. He's obviously got quality, and you look at him, he plays the game at his own pace. He doesn't look like he's running very fast. He doesn't look that much like a footballer. Like his body condition isn't the greatest, but what he can do with the ball is brilliant. And yeah, I think where Rashford has maybe benefited is with the likes of a manager like Unai Emery, who's so detail focused. And sometimes players, I don't know how Jack Grealish would do with Unai Emery. We've seen how his game's affected with Pep Guardiola, in the fact of back in the day, it was just give Grealish the ball, just give him the ball and let him do something. Unai Emery is not like that. He is like, when you're playing in this position, this is exactly what I want you to do, and this is exactly what I expect of you to do. These are the runs I want you to make, and these are the passes that I want you to make, and this is exactly what I expect you to do. And I'm going to hold you account. I'm going to hold you to account if you do or don't do that. And I think that's what some players need, and maybe Rashford benefiting from that little bit of structure and a bit of expectation and accountability. I don't know how much maybe Solskjaer would have done that for him, or maybe Ten Hag would have done that. I don't know. I'm not there to say. But maybe it's a case of like, just run around, just give him the ball and see what he can do. Whereas Unai Emery's got really specific tasks for every player to do. And it's almost the point of where it can be a bit over the top. But sometimes that works for players. Sometimes they need that structure to operate within. And that's why you may be seeing a bit more of a bit of a better Rashford. But as I say, I agree with Dan. One swallow doesn't make a summer. You can't turn around and say, just because he's played well and done some stuff since January, just because Marco Asensio is doing so well. the quality that they have is a different kettle of fish. The technical ability that they've got, the tools that they've got in their armory, like what Rashford can do, in terms of like when he stands up a defender and how quick he is over 2 or 3 yards. I've not seen a player like I did a kind of clip on it. I've not seen a player with that pace after 2 or 3 yards since R9. When he drops the shoulder and goes, it's unreal. But this is why he frustrated Man United fans so much. He doesn't do it enough.
It's the age-old thing with Rashford. I've said this for the last 5 years about the lad. You can have world-class ability, and a lot of players have world-class ability. A lot of players we've seen nearly men, world-class ability. But if you don't have the world-class mentality, it's worth nothing. It's absolutely worth nothing.
Yeah. I agree, and I think you've just touched on it, Rich. I think if you want to keep any one of those signings out of the mall, you want to keep Asensio. He plays the type of football that Emery likes to play.
Yeah.
Whether he's the physical makeup of the type of player you want, regardless of that, he plays the type of football you want to play. So, I think you boys are right. Everything you've said in terms of looking elsewhere, and yeah, I think you're definitely in the right mind to do so. But I think there's been a few questions, so we'll come to a few. I think there's one or two in there, so
there's a few. Yeah, there's okay, I have to go there, Pete. Sorry now, but Johnny's asking if you come down to Sky Sports, Pete.
He's a regular now. He's a regular. I've seen him on. I've seen you on Sky News. I've seen you on Sky Sports News.
There's a guy at my work, and he was talking Newcastle fan. And he went, "Yeah, there's a Newcastle fan." I went, "I got a photo with him, mate. I was in Nottingham with him last year."
Oh dear.
When the autographs? How many autographs did you do on the weekend?
None. I think it's not like that at all. We were all celebrating. We just celebrated. That's
Hazard asked the question, Nunny to Newcastle.
Not a chance. Yeah, the fact that Chelsea want to get rid of him tells you everything you need to know. His final ball is shocking. He's got pace, he's got a little bit of trickery, a little bit of movement in there. But when it comes to his final ball, that's why Chelsea want rid of him. I'm glad that we didn't sign him in the summer. The only thing he did this season was score that hat-trick against Wolves earlier on in the season, and then everybody overhyped him after that. He's not.
Some of those Chelsea players have really damaged their rep. Not done a great deal for their reputations. This kind of last sort of 5-6 months of the season. They've not done. I mean, didn't they lose to their under 16s or under 21s the other day as well? 3-0. I'm sure of it.
Really?
They lost a training. The first team lost a training game to their under 18s or under 21s that had 16-year-olds in it. I mean, sometimes that can happen, but yeah, I don't know. Like Madueke was really up there, wasn't he, in pre-season, and then the start of the season, and he kind of really dropped off the radar. And then you had Sancho's the same.
Where's
Palmer
Sancho?
hasn't been the same.
Yeah. It's like there was a certain Manchester United fan on every channel that he could get his face on was telling every Chelsea fan, he'll do it. He'll do exactly what. Oh, brilliant! Honestly, and the fact that they're going to have to pay us to send him back, magic.
That's bad.
Magic.
Great deal, that one. Was that Dan Ashford's one, I wonder? No, he's pretty gone at that stage. The Claret is in with one for you, Rich. He's offering to take Rodgers off in exchange for Longstaff. I don't know if we do that, would we? Think about it.
If there's any manager who could turn Longstaff into a decent player, it's Unai Emery. But you're all right. We'll keep Morgan Rodgers. Although he frustrates me and amazes me in equal measure. I know I've said this on this show numerous times, but his decision making at times and his quality of final ball is terrible at times. However, he's a match winner and he can do stuff that other players can't do. When he gets running with the ball, it's a sight to see. Like, he's brilliant, but yeah, he's so frustrating sometimes.
You're the only Villa fan that I know that said that. And you know what? I see it. I actually, the first time I properly saw it was for England during the internationals.
He just doesn't take care with the ball sometimes, and I think, it sounds cheesy and that, but when I used to coach and that, I used to say to the kids and that, don't treat the pass or treat the ball like it's the last time you're gonna touch the ball, and it's like he just doesn't take care of the ball. It's like always the same, like that one touch pass. But like I say, sometimes it's unreal, but you just think there's times when it's just a simple pass or time to just keep possession or not do that first time pass around the corner or flick, and it's just like, Morgan, just stop.
Because he keeps finding himself in positions, he's going to get one right eventually.
Yeah.
Against England, it was exactly how you described it. And had he taken more care, he probably would have scored 4 on that night. That's the difference.
But that's so exciting, isn't it? It's that point, isn't it?
Another one from the Clan, and the Clan, you must have watched the last couple of loaded shows, because we have a code name for this now. It's called Locked and Loaded for our 20 million for Lloyd Kelly, because we're all on for Juventus to get Europe, and then we can cash in on Lloyd Kelly. So we're monitoring that one. So stay tuned as we keep an eye out. Locked and Loaded is the code name. Jonathan Greenwood, friend of the channel from Newcastle Fans TV, he just wants to let us know that we're 20 quid off the target for the charity game. So get on that. The link is in the description as well for the charity game for autism as well. And that's coming up on the 12th of April. So less than 2 weeks to go. And there's a question here then, Pete. It comes from Wolsey. He says, Talksport are asking the question, is the Big Six dead? It was never, or wasn't real in the first place.
What do you boys think? And like Dan, your team's situated in that Big Six. What we've seen over the course of the season, this season, last season, the season before that, when we got 4th, Villa last season, Forest this season, are they signs that the Big Six is dead? Is it already dead? Is it still alive and kicking? What are your thoughts on that? I think that's a really good question, actually. Really good question.
I think as like I said before, with the football clubs in the Premier League starting to really evolve now, I think it is on its way out. I think we will be in a situation in the next 5 years where it won't be such a shock where Forest are finishing in these positions. It won't be such a shock that Fulham are pushing. You got to remember, these clubs, I think for a good 10 years, tried to buy their ways up the league, didn't they? They used to try and they'd always spend a lot of money and it would always go wrong. Whereas now they're absolutely going about it the right way. They're utilising the scouting systems and they're finding these people. They're bringing players from the Championship. A lot of players are coming from the Championship and having that opportunity to really push on in the Premier League. So I think the Big Six should be dead. I think it's been a badge of notoriety for so long that Manchester United and teams like Spurs, teams like Chelsea and Arsenal, they've all had it. I think we're seeing a shift. I genuinely do. These things don't happen by accident. These clubs who are finishing where they are. Brighton have been knocking on the door for the past few years. We've seen Bournemouth really push on this season. So I think, is it not just yet? Should it be? Absolutely.
What do you think, Rich?
First of all, to David's point, yes, I need to change that. It's on March. I need to change it to April. So thank you for reminding me there. With the regards to the Big Six, I think, obviously in terms of coverage, fan bases, you only really have to look at like the attention that they garner, the number of YouTube channels, the number of views and everything that type of content gets from those 6 clubs. It dwarfs a lot of the clubs that Newcastle's getting there, Villa and that kind of stuff. So we probably need a few more years at that, within the European football to kind of get up to that level. But in terms of like credibility and in terms of results, then I think that it is now. I think it is going to have to be rebranded because Tottenham are classed as a Big Six. But what have they done over the past sort of 3-4 years? Manchester United is still there in terms of history, but it would be yeah, if Aston Villa can win a trophy this season, qualify for the Champions League again, that's 2 seasons in a row plus a trophy, 3 seasons in Europe in a row. Newcastle have already qualified for Europe. If they get the Champions League, that's 2 out of 3 seasons. You've got to be talking about those 2 clubs in particular being part of the big names in sort of European football. It has to start that conversation at least. The only thing I would say though is that Aston Villa were talking about their turnover increasing to 275 million, and Tottenham were talking about kind of a drop in turnover to 550 million. So it's still ridiculous in terms of the difference. We're thinking that we're having a successful time, and we are, but it's they're almost double what we're bringing in off the back of kind of a couple of unsuccessful seasons. So there's still a hell of a long way to go in terms of money, fan base, worldwide coverage, that kind of stuff.
And the chatters are agreeing with you as well, Rich. Look, the gap is getting smaller, but there's still a long way to go for everyone chasing it. So that's what will keep the Big Six alive. We'll keep chipping away at it. Why not?
It's the money six. That's effectively what it is, because they grab the revenues, they grab everything regarding that. So, yeah, but we'll keep plugging away with our announcing of the new stadium potentially at the end of the season. Obviously, that'll take a few years to get built anyway. But in the training ground as well, they're the kind of things that bring you closer because of the money that they will be able to generate. Last thing, boys, fixtures. So for tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday, I'm just going to throw some in your fixtures out to you. The big game tonight, Dan, I'm going to come to you first. Forest against Man United. You had a Wolfie 5-0 prediction. What are you going for tonight, mate?
Do you know what? Just because if it come off, then I can silence it for a week at least. I'll go 2-1 United. I'll stick my neck out. What we got to lose? 2-1 United. Go on, we'll go.
Back in your boys. Daz, Rich, what are you thinking for that game?
I think Forest will win, but I'm going to go for the draw. I think it could be a draw.
Okay, Rich?
He's stuck at his
no answer.
Calendar.
What are you going for, Rich? What score in the Forest Man U game?
5-0, isn't
it? After all I've just said with the Champions League, you.
Nah, I don't. You know what? I think United have got a chance here. I'm going to say 2-1 United.
Oh, same as Dan. Gone for the 2-1 United. I think 2 draw. I think there's going to be goals in this. I think it could be a draw. I just think Man United will potentially cause them a little bit of an upset. We'll come to your big game on Wednesday, Rich. Brighton against Villa, going to the Amex. What are you thinking?
1-0 Villa.
Tight game.
Yeah.
1 goal to win it.
Yeah.
United?
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-2. I think it's going to be a very, very even game. I think Villa have got a lot of football in the next 7 days as well, haven't they? You've obviously got Brighton, then you've got Forest, and then it's the big one, isn't it? Champions League. So this is where, to be fair, Unai Emery does pull it out, doesn't he? When you're backlogged, he does tend to shift the players around. So I think 2-2. I'll go 2-2 away.
Daz?
Score draw for me as well. I go with Jordy 2 for life, who says 1-1. And that will suit us.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to go 1-1. Yeah, I'll stick with that. I'll stick with the 1-1. That was what I was going to go for, so we'll stick with that. And then we'll come to the prediction at St. James's Park. There's other games. Man City I expect to win. Liverpool I expect to win. and Bournemouth I expect to win. But St James's Park, will Newcastle hit the ground running after the cup win? Daz, I'll come to you first.
Please. And then the dream is alive. We can build the momentum. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle.
2-0. Dan?
Nervy 2-1. I think it's going to be a party atmosphere there, carnival atmosphere. I think 2-1. I think you nick it late on.
Okay, Rich.
I think it's really important that you do get a win after the kind of celebrations as quickly as possible.
Mhm.
Brentford, not the easiest team to face when they're away from home, because I think, haven't they won like 7 or 8 in a row or something away from home? Is it something stupid like that?
Their best form at the beginning of the season, it was their home form that was really good, because they had a lot of winnable games at home, and now they've got all their winnable games away, and they've gone on a run of 6 or 7 games.
Yeah. I think it'll be a draw. Yeah, I think it'll be 2-2, shall we say? Yeah.
I think it could be a tight game. I'm going to go 1-0 Newcastle. I don't think it's going to be straightforward, but I do think we'll get the win. If the players get us over the line, that'll be enough for me if that happens. But there are fixtures. We'll see them through. But yes, some good predictions there. People in the chat putting their predictions in. Wolsey's gone for, and he's at hat-trick 4-0. Tom Dixon's gone for 2-1. Geordie 2 for life 2-0 as well. Getting the scores in. Let's see. But boys, we'll wrap it there. Great to have you on as always. Dan United at United First. Go make sure you follow him on TikTok. Villa Park Pod. Make sure you follow him, Rich, and all things on social media as well, on TikTok, on X, Instagram as well.
Yeah, Instagram. Yeah, all over, mate. All over.
But go and watch the channel and subscribe to the channel as well. And of course, subscribe to Loading Mag at NUFC. We'll be back more next week with Top Table Talk.
And more to come during the week. Enjoy the games. See you soon.
Feeling